Hello and welcome to the Tech Table, the Technical Staff and Theatre Workers podcast. It's the podcast in which I talk to people who work in the technical side of the entertainment industry about how they got in, their experiences, and any advice they can give to anyone getting in. This is episode 8 of season 6. What a season it's been so far. I'm really looking forward to the rest of it. If you want to get in touch with us via the socials, it is techtablepod at Instagram, TikTok, X, Facebook, Threads and YouTube. The email is techtablepod@gmail.com. Thank you so much for all the downloads and the continued listens. It's been fantastic. We've got over 41,000 downloads now since we started, which is just incredible. So long may that continue. And so tell your friends, tell your family, tell anyone you know who's interested in the technical side of the industry, and anyone who's not interested, because it might make them interested. And without further ado, let's get on to our next guest. I'm here with my guest at this time. If you'd like to introduce yourself and tell me what your current job title is.
I'm Oscar Thompson. I run a company called Showworks Limited, and through that company, also producing a radio station called Backstage Radio, which is for the theatre and live events community.
Excellent. And how did you get into the theatre industry?
I started doing Amdram from probably around sort of 16, did a lot of Amdram, sort of DJing as well, and then eventually decided that I liked theatre and that was the way forward, so went to drama school, went to the Royal Central School of Speech and Drama, and then sort of from there met a load of people, did lots of networking, and whilst I was at uni grew Showworks as well at the same time, and then 10 years or so later, here we are.
Excellent. So what was your first job in theatre?
That's a very good question. Probably isn't the right one, but I feel like through uni and like through the people who are in the sort of high years at uni, I would have done some random crewing jobs, probably for like about a fifth of the day rate you get nowadays. So that's probably one of the first ones. But one of the most memorable ones is I did do Showstoppers as like one of my first sort of proper West End runs when it was in the Upper Palace. And that was probably like during the end of uni and like the most memorable sort of actually done a proper job.
Excellent. What did you go to study?
I studied sound design for theatre, and so I guess already knew before uni. I know some universities don't specialise, I suppose, and you can do everything in your first year. But thankfully, or maybe not, I sort of knew that I wanted to do audio before going to uni.
Right, excellent. How did Showworks come along?
So I guess it was one of those things through uni. I was already DJing before I went to uni, and doing sort of events, school plays and whatnot. And then decided that I didn't want to do DJing anymore because it was very depressing. Late nights. Not that that's changed, but lots of drunk people. And then, I guess just pursuing that passion for theatre. Started off just hiring some little bits at amateur dramatic societies and schools, and then slowly built that equipment up. Went out of uni, still freelance sort of during uni and out of uni, and then eventually took that leap to just run the company full time and not freelance, and just kept building up clientele and equipment, and then now we're in Ascot with a sort of modest team of 5 of us, and still doing the same thing, broadly speaking.
So is it solely a hire company, or do you branch out into other things? Obviously, excluding the radio, which we'll talk about in a bit.
It's sort of ingrained as a hire company. That is our sort of main thing. Obviously, I think, or as COVID changed that for a lot of people, and it did for us. So we did primarily like theatre sound as a speciality before COVID, and then decided to branch out a bit more coming out of COVID. So did a lot more projection, a lot of immersive stuff, which I guess was probably more well known for now. Immersive experiences, immersive installs, that sort of thing.
So what's the most well-known immersive install that you've done?
We do a couple of global ones, which is Dopamine Land, which is produced by Fever. We work a lot with Fever. We've also done shows such as Stranger Things and Money Heist for them, which are immersive experiences. in London. In terms of actual installs, we do some like sea life stuff as well, so submarine attractions, Shrek as well in
Oh,
London.
as a hire company, is it difficult to sort of carve your own niche when you've got such huge hire companies already there?
I think so. Yeah, I think that's something that's really important to me. Hence Backstage Radio, but we'll get into that
Yeah.
later. I
Yeah.
think USP as a hire company is really valuable, and I don't think there's anything wrong with not. And there's a lot of event companies out there which are really good at doing like corporate events and smashing them out one day after another. And I think you can definitely make good money and have a lot of work going that route. But I think as well doing like immersive theatre, or as I guess I call it, sort of like specialised projects. I think that's a real niche in doing that properly, but also being able to do that, I guess, quite a lot and not having it eat up all of your time.
Cool. Going back to your DJing days, I always assumed that as a DJ, all you ever had to do was put on "Sweet Child of Mine," "Summer of '69," and "Living on a Prayer," and then you got it made. Really, right?
I think so. I mean, I feel like
Well,
I've blanked those days out.
yeah, those three songs, and everybody's on the dance floor, so you're all right.
Yeah.
So you start in theatre, and then you sort of branched out into the more hire company side of it. So what were the pros and cons of the theatre side of it, and what are the pros and cons of working, of having a hire company?
I think theatre is a really great place to hire to. It's a lot easier if you get in with like a good producer or a good show that does really well, then you can spend a lot of time building that show and getting it out the door, and then you never have to see it again, which is really good from a hire company side. And even though the budgets in theatre may not be great, there's
It's like
nothing
free
that really
storage books,
compares.
though, isn't it?
Exactly. There's not really another format that really compares to theatre. Like if you've got some theatre shows that have been in the West End for 25 plus years, it's such a great, really stable business model. I can't believe I'm saying this about theatre to get into, but I should caveat that's probably about 2% of the
Well,
case
it
with.
can be if you're lucky, I suppose.
Yeah, I think if you can play the long game and sort of work up enough kit to do all those theatre gigs, as I guess production requirements increase, then you can, dare I say, make some money in theatre. But yeah, it's just weighing that up with what do you want? Do you want to take the easy short route, or yeah,
Or play the long.
go, yeah.
Excellent. So let's move into Backstage Radio. Where did this idea come from?
Yeah, I guess sort of relating back to what we were saying earlier on that unique selling point of view, we were trying to do a bit more of a marketing push this year, so 2025. And one of those is like, what is something that no one else has done? And it was it was radio, and it really started off as one of my friends who works in radio, who's helping build the station. I can't mention his name because he
That's
actually
all
works
right.
at a real radio station. Uh,
So
we'll make up a name for him.
he's pimping himself
Um,
out to you.
yes, but person number one, we'll call him. We sort of joked around, and we had like our own sort of Showworks radio going on in the warehouse, and it was funny. And we made some like funny sound effects to go in between the songs, and it was just one of those sort of like warehouse morale things. And then my famous word that I like to say is the hobby that got out of hand, a bit like the
Yeah.
company. We were like, let's actually make it into a real radio station, put it on the internet, got a bit of traction that way, and then managed to get it on actual radio waves, so DAB, in West London, which is launching next Saturday, the 1st of November.
1st of November. Yeah.
And then that's sort of when it got serious. We were like, oh, maybe we should do this properly. Let's get backup tech involved, or a charity, presenters and all that, and it sort of just went from there.
Excellent. So, what's your? Do you have an ultimate goal for it, or is it just still a sort of a hobby that's getting just a bit bigger every day?
Yeah, yeah. There is, like, broadly speaking, a goal. It really did sort of start off as that like USP for Showworks. That is probably less so in like the goal of it now. It's more about community now. hence like partnering with Backup. So any proceedings or any profits made by the station would go to Backup to charity. It still is a little bit of a USP for Showworks, and that association is great because it helps both ways. It helps drive business for the company, but also it also helps people then know that there's this community station and they've got something to relate to it. It's really, I think, just a unique medium to share everything about theatre and theatre.
So what makes it different? Is it different because it's a backstage theatre radio done by backstage people, essentially?
I think so, yeah. I say to a lot of people to try and give an idea of it, and not many people have listened to what Fixed Radio, which is the builder station. They've got their own station, which is UK-wide, and it's all about trades, and a bit like theatre, like our own trades. Builders have got their carpentry and electricians and plumbers. Like we've got stage management, lighting and sound. It's just a lovely little community with in-jokes, like silly competitions, just something where people can be heard. And the bonus, I guess, for Backstage Radio is it broadcasts in the area where I guess a lot of theatre is happening, not all, of course, but being the West End geographically helps.
Yeah, I think it's a great idea as well because it gives the people who work backstage an opportunity to be a bit more creative, which is something that a lot of the time you're hamstrung to having to realise somebody else's vision for something. So I think it could be quite fun for people who work backstage to show that they do have creativity as well.
Yeah, definitely. And the presenters that we've got on the station already, I'm always looking for more. Are very creative themselves. They run their own. Hello. Yes, definitely. Yeah, the people that we've got on run their own social media, and they already do a great job. And we're so grateful to them. And it's also just another medium for them to sort of showcase their talent, both at their own marketing, but also their own skills and all those other things.
Excellent. And that's launching on the 1st of November on DAB, but you can listen to it on the internet anywhere.
Yeah, that's
worldwide.
correct. Yes, worldwide and on your smart speaker. And then the presenters will be presenting from the 1st as well. So at the moment, there's still music playing, but not as exciting.
It actually becomes a proper radio station as of the 1st. Must be very exciting for you. Excellent. So what advice would you give to anybody who's trying to get into the industry, be it backstage or into sort of hire companies and things like that?
The most valuable thing is networking, I think. And that's such a cliche thing to say. And I know everyone said it when I went to uni, but it's just so true. And it's just those connections, even if you don't think like they're valuable. You meet someone on a site visit, or you meet just someone on a one-day theatre install, get in, you end up, they can't do one job and then they end up giving it to you. And then the next thing you're in with a producer or a production manager. And it leads to these amazing things, which is sort of what happened with Showworks. And I think it's what happens with a lot of people. So I'm sure everyone says it, but it's definitely is networking.
No, it's good. It's good. And that's everything I've got. So thank you so much for joining me.
Amazing. Thank you very much. Pleasure.
Thank you. A huge thank you to Oscar. Really enjoyed talking to Oscar there. Really looking forward to his radio station launching. So give it a listen. It's on the internet if you're not in Britain, around London, and on DAB as of the 1st of November if you are, but you can listen to it anywhere. So all of the great listeners of Tech Table, give Backstage Radio a listen, and let's get the numbers up for them as well as ourselves. Keep listening to us too, and if you want to get in touch, it's techtablepod@gmail.com. If you want to get in touch via the socials, it's techtablepod on Instagram, TikTok, X, Facebook, Threads and YouTube. And also there might be a little program from me coming on the Backstage Radio, so look out for that one. I'll look forward to doing that. Tell your friends, tell your family, tell everyone you know who's interested in the technical side of the industry, and anyone who's not interested, because it might make them interested. A huge thank you to Megan G, Jade, Flynn and Nathan, the Tech Table team. Really appreciate them. And get yourselves down to the Opera House, on the Royal Opera House in London, on the 1st of November for Theatrecraft, because that's going to be a great time, and we're going to be there too. So come and say hi, and it's going to be very, very interesting. And yeah, so that's the end of this week. So until then, I shall see you all next week.